I waited for her for 10 years, and when she finally came back, I was already gone. I met Mia when I was 17 years old. It was my last year of high school, and I was the kind of kid who blended into the background. Not exactly unpopular, but not the one people remembered either. I had a small group of friends, average grades, and spent my weekends playing guitar and watching old movies with my mom. Then Mia transferred to our school. She had this presence about her, the kind of energy that made you feel like the room tilted a little when she walked in. She wasn't the typical head-turner by magazine standards, but she had these piercing hazel eyes and a laugh that felt like sunlight breaking through clouds. Everyone noticed her, including me. I didn't think she'd ever notice me, though. She was outgoing, adventurous, with stories about cities she'd lived in and summers she'd spent in places I'd only seen in movies. But somehow, by some cosmic accident, we ended up lab partners in chemistry. I still remember the first time she smiled at me. Really smiled. "You have nice eyes," she said out of nowhere, while we were supposed to be measuring the pH of some random liquid. I was so thrown off, I nearly dropped the beaker. From there, things snowballed in that way teenage love stories tend to. She started sitting with me at lunch, texting me random, nonsensical things at 2 a.m., dragging me to places I'd never have gone to on my own. We bonded over music, old acoustic ballads, and indie rock bands no one else seemed to know. And before I knew it, I was falling for her. The thing about falling in love at 17 is that it feels like the whole world is yours, like nothing can touch you, like you'll be the exception to every heartbreak song ever written. And for a while, we were. We officially started dating 3 months before graduation. It was a whirlwind, stolen kisses behind the bleachers, whispered promises of forever, playlists made just for each other. We were naive, but it was real, at least to me. One night, 2 weeks before our high school graduation, we snuck out and drove to this old abandoned parking lot on the edge of town. It had a view of the city lights in the distance. We sat on the hood of my car, a beat-up '97 Civic, eating gas station snacks and talking about the future. "I think I'm in love with you," she said softly, without looking at me. My heart nearly stopped. "I think I am too," I whispered back. We kissed under the stars like we were the only two people in the world. But the thing is, nothing perfect stays perfect. A week after graduation, Mia's mom got a job offer in another state, a good one, too good to pass up. And just like that, she was leaving. We promised we'd make it work, long distance, visits, calls, letters, all of it. But you know how those stories go. At first it was okay. We texted constantly. Long phone calls at night, video chats where we'd fall asleep on camera. But little by little, the distance crept in. Missed calls, delayed replies, new friends, new lives. And then one day, 6 months later, it happened. She called me, crying. "I don't think I can do this anymore," she choked out. "I love you, I always will, but this isn't fair to you, to me." I begged her to stay, told her we could figure it out, that we were stronger than this. But sometimes love isn't enough. She hung up. And just like that, the girl I thought I'd grow old with was gone. The next few years were a blur. I went to college in a nearby city, tried to move on, dated casually, focused on school. But Mia was always there, like a ghost, in every song, every familiar place, every girl who laughed a little too similarly. I heard bits and pieces about her through mutual friends, that she was doing well, that she'd moved to New York. that she was in a serious relationship with some guy in marketing. I told myself I was over it. I wasn't. I kept a box of our old letters, our pictures, the playlist she made me. I told myself I'd throw it out, but I never did. And then one night, nearly 10 years later, she came back. It was a rainy Thursday night. I remember because it was one of those nights where everything feels heavier than it should. I was sitting alone in my apartment, scrolling through old photos on my phone, a dangerous habit I hadn't quite kicked when a notification popped up. Mia, hey. It felt like my heart stopped. I hadn't heard from her in nearly a decade, not a single word, and yet there it was, like a ghost from another life. I stared at it for what felt like an eternity. Me. Hey. I kept it simple. Safe, guarded. But what came next unraveled everything I'd spent years trying to bury. Mia. I'm in town for a while. Would you want to meet? Just to catch up? Against every bit of self-preservation I had left, I said yes. We met at this tiny coffee shop we used to sneak into back in high school. It hadn't changed. Same mismatched chairs, same terrible acoustic covers playing too loud over the speakers. It felt like stepping into a time capsule. And then she walked in. Mia. Older. Different. But somehow still exactly the same. Her hair was shorter now, and there were faint lines around her eyes, the kind you get from laughing too much or crying too often. I couldn't tell which. But when she smiled, it was like no time had passed at all. We hugged, and for a moment it felt like the world reset. We talked for hours, about everything and nothing. Her job, my job, our families, the friends we'd lost touch with, the things we never said. And then inevitably the conversation circled back to us. I thought about you, she whispered, staring into her coffee. More than I should have. Yeah, I managed, my throat tight. Same. And for a dangerous second it felt like maybe, just maybe, we could pick up where we left off. But life's not a movie. It was around midnight when she finally told me. I'm engaged, Mia said, voice barely audible over the rain outside. I felt something inside me crack. To that guy from New York? She nodded. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have come. I needed to see you one last time. I wanted to be angry, to hate her, to tell her she had no right. But all I could do was smile brokenly. I'm glad you did. We sat in silence after that, the kind of silence that says everything words can't. When we finally stood to leave, she hugged me tight, and for a second, she started crying. Quiet, messy tears against my shoulder. I'll always love you, she whispered. And then she walked away. I went home that night and fell apart. I tore open the box I'd kept all those years, the letters, the pictures, the playlist. I played every song, read every note, let myself bleed. It was pathetic. It was necessary. I realized then that I'd spent a decade holding on to a ghost, that every relationship I'd half-heartedly stumbled through was just me looking for her in someone else. And it wasn't fair. To them. To me. I knew I had to let her go. Really let her go. The next day I wrote Maya a letter, not to give to her, not to email or text, just to finally say everything I never could. Dear Mia, I don't hate you. I wish I did. It would make this easier. But the truth is, I love you. I probably always will. And that's not your fault. You were my first love, my biggest heartbreak. The person who taught me what it means to feel everything and lose it. And while I wish things had been different, I'm grateful. For you, for us, for the memories. I hope you're happy. I hope he treats you the way you deserve. And I hope one day you think of me and smile. Goodbye, Mia. Love always, Eli. I burned it in the sink afterward. Watched the ashes swirl down the drain like some poetic cliche. But it helped. A little. It wasn't immediate. It wasn't clean. But day by day, I started to live again. Really live. I reconnected with old friends. Took spontaneous road trips. Started a band with some guys from work. Fell in love with a new city. A new version of myself. I dated again, carefully, honestly, without comparing. And while no one quite replaced Mia, I stopped looking for her in every girl I met. I learned to be okay with the fact that some loves aren't meant to last. That some people are chapters, not endings. 2 years later, I saw Mia again. I was at the airport, heading out for a weekend trip. She was there with a little girl, her daughter. She looked happy. Tired, but happy. We made eye contact for a split second, and in that look we said everything that needed to be said. No words, no wave. Just a silent, bittersweet acknowledgement of who we were, who we became, and the space between. And then she was gone. For good this time. It's been 4 years since that airport moment. I'm 31 now, happier than I thought I'd be. Still a little bruised, but whole. Sometimes, late at night when the world is quiet, I'll hear a song we loved or catch a glimpse of someone who moves like her, and for a heartbeat, the past rushes back. But it doesn't hurt the way it used to. Mia was a storm, beautiful, chaotic, unforgettable. And now, she's a memory. A story I'll carry with me quietly for the rest of my life.